All right, guys, we're going to just talk like this today. I don't know if I'm going to layer gameplay over this or not. If I do, it has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. It's just for your benefit. So you don't have to stare at my ugly face. Okay? But these are things, COD coaching tips that I have for you that are going to drastically improve you as a teammate. Specifically, this isn't necessarily gameplay related. This isn't gun skill, rotations, anything like that. This is just you as a person, as a teammate, getting better. So then your teammates will love you, and which then will help the vibes of your team. Like if your team is vibing and if you're all getting along and doing well and you're good friends and everything's going well with that, then you're going to play better. You just are. And if you're not playing better, if you're losing, then you're still going to be able to bounce back. Because there's something to be said about a team's cohesion and chemistry when they are down 5-1 in a search and destroy, down 203 to 120 on the final rotation, right? There's something to be said about the team's chemistry and cohesion in those moments that you need to have a bond. You need to be able to have teammates that have your back and trust each other. And one of the ways that you do that is through your comms. Is if you are good at calming and communication, right, then your team is going to do better together. And so that's where I have 10 things that I'm going to talk through. I don't want to say 10 points because some of them overlap and I'm going to cover a lot of them. Okay. I'm going to emphasize some of them, but I'm not going to number them per se because they overlap so much. Okay. And so it's going to be a little bit of jumping around, but the very last one is a role. The very last thing I'm going to talk about is a role on a team that I think you need. I think it's overlooked a lot these days, especially in the pro COD scene because pros get insecure about this stuff and have egos. And so they don't want a role on the team that feels above them in any way, shape, or form, even if it doesn't mean they're better. It just is a certain role that takes charge a little bit. And so we'll get to that at the very end. So stay tuned for that. But the rest of these are ultra important, and I think are going to drastically improve your game, okay? But number one in the communication, I said I'm not going to number them, but I'm probably going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. But because they overlap, it's going to be hard to structure it like that, okay? But I'm still going to use the verbiage. But number one is know your callouts. You got to know where people are on the map. You got to know where you are on the map because when you're calling out certain things, you want a specific area. You don't want just a general area. The more specific you can be, the more you can call out somebody exactly on the pixel they're on. It's just going to be so much better. Obviously, you know that. You've experienced that. So why wouldn't you hold yourself to the same standard and want to be able to have the best callouts possible? Now, callouts vary from team to team. I remember in Black Ops 3, there was a map. I still can't think of it. It had a cave on the top side with a bridge. It was an S&D map. It's where Karma turned on Pac-Man. Pac-Man had the Argus and was trying to shotgun him, and Karma turned on him. I forget the name of the map. Some of you might remember it. But anyway, not really important. There was a land bridge on that map, though. There was water on the right side, a waterfall, or water on the left, water on the right, and there was a land bridge, basically. And I called it at the beginning of the game. I was playing with some friends, Thad and some other people. And I said, the Bering Strait, because the Bering Strait is a land bridge in history, right? I believe it connected Alaska to Russia. Up there was a land bridge back in time, since has been depleted and eroded away. But it was called the Bering Strait. And ever since then, that call out for us was BS. We called it BS because Bering Strait. I just called it that at the beginning of the game, and we were like, oh, it's BS. He's their side BS. I'm going BS. He's our side BS. He jumped off BS heading to B-bomb. We just called it that. No pro team, I think, called it that, obviously. Nobody was listening to me back then, and nobody called it that. They called it something else, land bridge maybe, or something else. I don't know. But that was a team-specific call-out, and so you're going to have that too for your team. But whatever it is, make sure you use it, okay? And part of this ties into the next one. Like I said, they're going to overlap no matter what I do. Clear communication. Clear. Keep the lines clear. Don't do repeating useless information. I do this all the time. Flank, left side, left side, left side, left side, left side. Like say it 5 times as if it's going to make a difference. No. If anything, you say it twice if it's super important. If not, say it once, move on. Move on. Because guess what? When you repeat it, it's like you're saying that it's a priority to you. But guess what? Somebody could be taking a gunfight, trying to rotate. Somebody could be on hill, trying to pop a two-piece. And yet you're calling this out, distracting them from what they're doing, as if you dying off on the flank is some big deal. And you're saying flank, 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 flank. It's like, okay, calm down. Even if it's an emergency, say it once or twice, move on. That's it, period. Keep the lines clear so that proper communication can flow. But if everybody's just talking over each other and and this call, and useless information, useless. I popped a three-piece. Cool. We'll glaze you. It's cool that you get hyped, and we do that sometimes when we get hyped. If you're playing rank play with your bros, it's not really that big of a deal. We're not playing for millions of dollars, thousands of dollars. We're not. Okay? But, popped a three-piece. Yeah, I have a kill feed too. I see it. Okay, I do this all the time. Most of this list is things that I just looked at my gameplay and I said, you know what? I suck at this. And this is why I suck as a teammate. So now let me make a list to tell you about my mistakes so that you don't do the things that I do. Okay? And one of those things is clear comms. I don't have clear comms. I'm talking about this, talking about that, call out this when it's not even necessarily relevant. Okay? It's not. Right? Clear comms. Repeating useless information. There's plenty of useless information. Don't worry about it. If something happens on the map that doesn't affect rotations, doesn't affect spawns, doesn't affect your teammate, doesn't have anything to do with you, or it has to do with you, but it doesn't really affect the game at all, there's no reason to communicate it. And if the game already tells your team, there's probably no point in sharing it. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. You have to judge that based on the situation. Okay? But speaking of useless information, let's talk about useful information. Okay? Because there's certain things that I think don't get communicated enough in COD, in playing with teams, amateur players. All right? Calling out flanks. And I'm not just talking about when you get flanked, though that's important because it can literally cost you a round. If you get flanked and you don't call it out and you're doing the not clear comms. See, I said clear comms as in making sure it's not cluttered, but also clear comms, clear and concise. So it's not, and then your whole team's dead and the round's over before you make the call out. Come on, dingus, spit it out. Today, Junior. Okay? You gotta be focused and clear comms. All right? You can, especially on flanks, dude, because that guy's about to pop a three-piece. And if I'm taking a gunfight front and you die on my flank, I'm not always going to be checking my mini-map because I'm in a gunfight. If you die on the flank, should I be knowing that on the kill feed and the radar or the mini-map? Yes. But the call-out is nice. And then watch the kill cam. Watch your kill cams, especially in Search and Destroy, because it shows you where they're going to go next. Because after they kill you in the kill cam, it shows like another 2-3 seconds after they kill you. So then you could see, oh, he's going top. Oh, he's going bottom. Now there's a way to play the kill cam, and that's a separate video and a tip for you, but that's not what this one's about. But flanks, you got to communicate flanks. But also, really important, is communicating when you're flanking. Now, you can't flank when somebody's flanking, which is why you need to communicate you're flanking. Whoever flanks first, let them flank. It's not your job to flank anymore. Don't flank unless you're setting up a pinch. There's situations, but that's very situational. That's very seldom that you'll double flank, okay? Zuma. That's what we call that. Zuma. Because Zuma was known for Zuma flanks. That's why his thing's called the flank. Anyway, because he was known for flanking all the time. 24/7. That's what he did back in like AW in his early days of COD. All right? But you got to communicate the flanks. And when you're on the flank, why? Because that means if I am here, right, and my teammate is going around a flank, I don't want to die. Why don't I want to die? 1, because it would suck. 2, because if I die, that person's going to shoot me, kill me, push this way, see nobody's there, turn around, it ruins the flank. The flank is no longer a flank. A flank is a flank because they're not looking. They're not paying attention. They're focused this way. But if they kill you, they have no reason to focus this way. They're going to turn around. And then it's a 50-50 gunfight, and I just ruined the flank. Okay? So you need to stay alive. If somebody says, I'm flanking, stay alive. Don't overchow. Don't take the gunfight until they're ready. Hey, are you ready on the flank? I'm almost there. Okay, I'm waiting. I'm there. I'm ready. 3, 2, 1. You peek. They come out. You probably get the drop on them. Because if you get killed by that guy, he's got your trade in the back free easy. Or you're just playing for him. He flanks, and all of a sudden he's like, there's one here, one here, one here. He pops a 2-piece. You get the third one. You coordinate it. But you got to stay alive. If you don't stay alive, it's game over. It's game over. All right? So that's why you communicate flanks. Spawns. I spawned out. Split spawn. I spawned in the back. I'm pushing out spawn. I'm rotating for spawns. I lost spawns. I lost spawns is one of the biggest things. If you're an AR and you're in the back anchoring and you die, I lost spawns. That lets your team know I need to watch my back. Okay? Bathroom hill on skyline. I'm watching bedroom. I'm watching closet. I'm watching secret. I'm watching that front. My AR in the back. I died. I lost spawns. I spawned out. That means guess what? Now you got to watch the back too. Okay? Somebody needs to try to push out the back to see them flanking in the back. Okay? So you got to communicate spawns. Lastly, and one of the most intricate details that could be a separate video of itself is counting kills. Not for search and destroy, mainly for control and a little bit for hardpoint. But control, super important. Why? Because you could be down 4 to 26 on lives and still win if you have 1 point left. Because if you get a squad wipe, kill all 4 of them in quick succession, meaning quickly, they're all going to be spawning up at the same time, and you put 4 people on the point, depending on what map you're playing, you could capture that point before they get there. And depending on how many ticks you already have. You could cap that point before they get there. And usually I stack with 3 and push 1 person up to try to shoot them off spawn, at least make them weak. So that way if they do get there, then it's an easy freebie kill. But you just stack the point. But you have to count kills. Because sometimes the feed gets staggered, right? They kill somebody, we kill 2, then they kill 1, then we kill 2. And it gets staggered and you can't always see it. But if in quick succession, you're like, hey, killed 1. Then somebody else is like, I killed 1. That's 2 down. All right, 3 down, 4 down, stack, stack, stack. You'll hear pros talk like this. It's because you need to know that, because now you get to stack the point or take map control on hardpoint. Because when you're just skirmishing and they're here and you're here, you're equal. You're equal. But all of a sudden when you start pushing them back, they die. You're the only ones here. Now get set up. Get to your corners. Get to your head glitches. Reload. Get all that stuff figured out. So now when they push again, you're set up and you're ready. Freebies all day long. You're in power positions. Some maps, it doesn't work. But because there's a spawn delay in control and hardpoint. So count kills. Now, if you get a kill, and then all of a sudden 5 seconds later, you get another kill. No, don't say 2. Say 1. Okay? You reset the count. All right? Because 5 seconds later, they're already off spawn. They're already reset. Okay? But if you get 1, 2, 3, look for that 4th. Look for that 4th. But you got to count the kills and communicate it. All right? Next is calm and collected. Not what I am right now. Okay? Have you been listening to me right now? Has it been giving you some tensity? Has it been giving you a little bit of stress and tension? Because I want you to feel stress and tension. Like I want you to feel how valuable and important this is. Guess what? Sometimes we feel that way when all of a sudden the clock is winding down and all of a sudden there's a stressful situation. All of a sudden our colors start sounding like this and we're starting to get panic. When somebody starts talking like that in your ear, it is so hard for you to keep composure and just play your game. You start doing stupid things. You start pre-aiming every corner instead of just holding the power position. You start running around trying to do too much. You start second guessing. You start playing tense and you start stagger pushing. And pretty soon you're losing and now you're trying 110% and then you're losing more. You got to stay calm, cool, and collected. You'll hear, I think in the breakdown of optics video, I talked about this. I think it's Kenny. All right. He said, hey, slow down, take our time. Sometimes you have to say that in your comms. Hey, slow down. Let's take our time. You come off spawn, but your team's not with you. Slow down, take your time, take a route that's nice and easy. All right. But it's 2:30 to 2:15 and I got to get over there and there's certain times where you have to rush, but it doesn't mean your comms need to. Also, what's the point of you rushing over there and dying versus letting them get to 2:45, but then you get the break and you're at 2:20 and now you get set up because you had your whole team with you. There's a possibility. I know that's cutting it close, and that situation is definitely not the greatest example because if you're down that bad, you do need to rush and get there. Like your team needs to get on their high horse and get over there, okay? But Reality is that you need to stay calm, cool, and collected. That's how teams come back 5-1, is they don't let the situation pressure them. And they stay calm, cool, and collected. They say one's left side. This guy's here. This guy's here. Hey, we got to push, count kills. They still will speed up their comms, but they're not panicking. They're calm and they're collected. They can rush their comms. They can speed up their comms. But when you start panicking, you start stagger pushing, your aim gets messed up. You start trying too hard and over pushing, over challenging. You're trying to get all 100 points back in one gunfight. And you can't do that. Right? So you got to stay calm and get with it. Next on this list is complaining. Complaining kills the vibe more than anything else. I do this a lot. We probably know other people that do this a lot. We get it, okay? You suck. No, I'm just kidding. We get it. The server's not on your side this game. You're getting a ton of hit markers. You're 4-20. It's fine, okay? Guess what? There's no need to complain. It clutters the comms. It kills the vibe. And we understand it a little bit, but then it starts getting annoying. And then it starts getting frustrating. And then the rest of your team, guess what? There's always somebody on your team who's susceptible and impressionable. So if you start complaining, they start complaining. You accuse a hacker, they accuse a hacker. And now all of a sudden you infected the team. Now 2 out of 4 of you are scumbag complainers. Then all of a sudden 3 out of 4. Then all of a sudden the last person who's trying to hold it all together says, I give up, and it just stays quiet. And then the session is ruined. And because the actual psychology behind complaining and the therapy behind it and all this different stuff is that it affects your subconscious to the point where you will stop playing in a way that you think you can still win, which then will cause you to lose more gunfights and lose the game more. That's the psychology behind it. Why words have power. Okay, we're getting a little off track here, and it's not necessarily related to COD, but it's related to life in general, and the psychology of our brain is when we speak negative things, it affects our subconscious, and our subconscious affects the way we actually do and live our life. So when we tell ourselves we can do something, it's not just affirmations, it's not just feel goods, it's not just positivity. What it is telling our subconscious, so then our subconscious, without us realizing it operates without us realizing it, will start to work on ways to solve the problem. But if we tell it we can't, it gives up. So we need to be careful of that. And the more that we complain, the more that we feed that, and the more pessimistic we get, and then negativity spirals. And all of a sudden you're sitting at home, 40 years old, and you are a loser. Let's be honest. But if you start telling yourself, no, I can do this, I just don't know how. Oh, right now I'm losing gunfights, but every time, I don't care if you die 15 times in a row. If you die 15 times in a row, that guy should be called out to the very pixel of where he is, and your team should kill him every time. Because if I'm going to die, I'm taking you with me, and I'm going to call you out. I'm going to be a walking UAV. I don't care how many times I die. This will get me to an old story in my competitive days of Call of Duty on Advanced Warfare. Okay? I was playing against a team that was really good. All right? I was playing with some amateurs. I was an amateur too, but I had a lot of experience in AW already to that point. I was on a team that was like tournament winner. We were front page MLG. We were 30-something-0. The team got disbanded. There was a chaos. There was in-game leadership problems and all these different things, and organization problems. We were part of an organization called ISAA. Beside the point, can share that in a different video if you want me to, my history with competitive Call of Duty. But I ended up finding a couple dudes that wanted to play competitive, taught them how to play, and then we picked up a free agent on Twitter. This free agent, really good slayer. He killed people like crazy. Had no IQ, no idea how to play OBJ. He played TDM on every mode, but he was exceptionally good gun skill. I had sucky gun skill. And also my internet was iffy. So when you're playing against somebody else on their host, you're getting gunned. So we were playing Retreat CTF. I didn't even have my gun out most of the time because I was dying. I was just going for captures. I was just capturing that flag, running a route, and getting it home. That's what I did. And in the first half, I had 5 caps. We were up 5-2. I had 5 caps. But I was like 4-12, which is bad. But guess what? I had captures. If you're dying a lot, you better have the most hill time ever. If you're dying a lot, you better make the best call out ever. If you're dying a lot, grab that bomb, play your life, and go get it down and let your team protect you and just sit in the corner. Okay? In control, that's a little tougher. I don't know what to do. You try to stack the point, make call outs. Okay? But I did this. What ended up happening, though, that game was we go into the second half, And I said, hey, we got to keep pressure. I said, move up halfway, play a corner, get the kills, let's push, let's get a couple more caps and ice the game. Dude on my team that plays TDM, he said, no, we should camp. We should camp in our base and not let him cap it. We have a big enough lead. We lost 7-5. And then he blamed me for going, I think I ended up 6-20. He blamed me for going 6-20 when I had 5 captures. Nobody else had any. And we didn't listen to my game plan. So I'm just saying the example of if you're dying a lot, just contribute to LBJ. Contribute in some way. Find a way. All right? Don't complain. Don't just complain. Make the call-outs, make the moves, get it done. All right? Contribute to the ideas and the strategies and the game plans. All right? Quiet/muted. All right? 2 things, and there's different reasons for each one. Usually you're quiet because you do want to complain. Usually you're quiet because your vibe is killed. Something in real life is bugging you. Stuff like that happens, okay? I get it. I understand. But it kills the vibe. And you die, we don't know where. We don't know how. We don't know what's going on. You're quiet. What's the deal? Just talk. Just communicate. All right? Even if you're complaining, don't feel like it, you got to find something to talk about that is pertinent information. You can do it. You're a big boy. You're a big boy. Yeah, you're playing video games in your mom's basement for the 12th hour of the day, but you could do it. So sack up, be a man, and talk. Help your team. Get over yourself. All right? Muted. I do this a lot. I have background noise. I have toddlers. I have a wife. I have a lot of background noise. Other people, they have background noise. I am a big advocate of never mute your freaking mic. I don't care if you're chewing on chips. I don't care if you're Darth Vader in that sucker. I don't care about the echo. I have friends who have all 3 things going on. But I would rather hear the occasional call out. I would rather hear your communication than not hear anything at all. I would rather hear your communication with that background noise. Now, obviously, we should try to limit background noise. That's a good teammate thing to do. All right? I got called out for that. All right? I understand. Okay? But that's reality. All right? That's reality is there's going to be background noise. Not all of us are pros playing on pro setups. So we got to do what we could do. Okay? Don't be quiet and try not to mute your mic. Now, if your teammates are like, no, we want you to mute so we don't hear the background noise, that's their preference. Be okay with that. The other side of quiet and muted is in search and destroy when somebody's trying to clutch. Shut up. Do not backseat game. Do not backseat game. Make your call out and mute your mic. That used to be the rule back in the day. Back in the day on my teams when I played competitively in game battles, tournaments, stuff like that, as soon as I'm in a 1v3, 1v2, 1v1, 1v4, as soon as you die in search and destroy, make the call out how you died, mute your mic. Mute your mic. Unmute if only, hey, did you hear him? Did you see him? No, I didn't. Okay? Stuff like that, you can unmute. But otherwise, mute that sucker. Let them play the game. They're alive. You're not. You had your chance. Let it be. It sucks. It sucks sometimes watching, as much as you love your teammate and trust your teammate, it sucks watching them in a 1v3. It sucks in the 1v2, but you put them in that position, so shut up. All right? Shut up. So that's the thing. Don't be quiet and muted in certain situations for certain reasons, and then in other reasons, search and destroy, shut up. Now, Black Ops 6 had a glitch for a while where I feel like spectators could hear people with dead silence, and then there's always been a spectator glitch about seeing people when the other person can't. You got to communicate those things. Help your teammate out. When you do that, don't say, you saw him. You heard him. No. If I reacted, then yes. But if I'm just sitting there and you're like, oh, you heard him. You saw him. No, I didn't. Don't say that because it causes panic. Say to your left. Don't say, oh, you heard him to your left. No, just he's to your left. I heard him. Or you heard him to your left. Something like that. Okay? You saw him to your left. Oh, you saw him on the head glitch. Quick, concise, clear communication. All right? This one, I am the biggest violator of this one. This next one. One shot. Calling out somebody one shot. I don't know what the default setting is in my brain, but I need to switch it. It's broken. Every time I die from somebody, I say one shot, even if I never shot him. I don't know why. It's a reaction thing. So I need to control myself and be more self-aware. And there's times where, for some reason, my brain confuses shooting somebody 5 times and they don't die and I die and I say one shot, which would be the right call out. right? One shot in the hill, one shot on the flank, one shot on the heady, whatever it is, whatever the call out is. Top eskies, grandmas, whatever, okay? But then there's times where I shoot somebody with one bullet and they kill me, and I say one shot because my brain says, oh, you hit him with one shot. And so my brain just says one shot. It doesn't make sense, and it can really screw over your teammates because imagine you say one shot, they turn, fire a little bit, then turn back to snap on this guy. That guy didn't die, though, because he's not one shot, you dingus. You just screwed over your teammate, okay? So one shot is a terrible call-out. I like saying weak because it's a little bit better than one shot, but ultimately it just wastes time anyway. You might as well just call out where they are so then they can snap on him quick. They'll know if he's one shot. They shoot a bullet, he dies, they know to snap back. One shot can be utilized in certain circumstances. And also it breeds frustration because if you say one shot, one shot, one shot, you're setting everybody up for failure. If nobody gets the trade, you're pissed. If they slide out, miss every bullet, and die to a guy who actually is one shot, they feel like an idiot. And it just sucks. Okay? You're setting everybody up for failure when you say one shot. And then if they're not one shot, you look like an idiot. All right? You're a tool bag. So just be done. Passive aggressive communication sucks. I do this a lot, and I don't always mean to. Like, I don't always mean it in the way that it comes out, but because you're trying to communicate short and you can't add context to what you're saying, it comes out in a way that actually could probably be really, like, rude and negative to your teammates. But, like, if I'm the only one that rotated, I'm on hill, and I just took a 1v3 gunfight, and I die, and then I look at the minimap, and my team is old, which old hasn't been the hill for 10 seconds. I'm like, do I have a team? Where's my team? I'm the only one here. That's not an okay way to communicate. That's not an okay way to communicate. You're a toddler. You're an insecure little man. Okay? You got to communicate in a little bit better way, a little bit nicer way. You got to find a way to communicate that is clear, kind, nice. And, hey, guys, we got to rotate sooner next time. Hey, guys, I just took a 1v3 gunfight on new. I need somebody there to help me. Hey, I need somebody to trade me. And sometimes that stuff can't be communicated in-game. It has to be communicated after game. Why did we lose that? Hey, guys, well, on rotation number 2, going from 2 to 3, I was the only one that rotated. I just need somebody to come with me next time. Hey, don't forget we got to be rotating at. Now, I'm going to be getting to some of that communication coming up here in like 2 points. All right? So just a moment. But the next one is premium gas. Back to the complaining, back to the quiet and muted, back to you're having a bad game. You don't know what to say. You don't know what to do. You know what you need to do besides just passive-aggressive criticism of your teammates? You need to give them gas. All right? You need a premium gas. Glaze that sucker. All right? Krispy Kreme that sucker. Okay. Pause. Wait. You need to encourage your teammates. They do something nasty, gas them up. Yes, guys, we like to give each other a hard time. We like to joke around with each other. We like to say, oh, that was it. You know, like give each other a hard time. That's fun. You're trolling. You're messing around. It's good. But there are times where you need to scream, Matthias, you sexy man. You remember that? Scumpy yelling that at Formal in AW Retreat Hardpoint? Matthias, you sexy man. Like, you need to gas your teammates like that. You need to be able to encourage your teammates like that. That needs to happen. It's going to make you a better teammate. It's also going to help you in the 5-1 situations because now, pardon me, again, in the downtrodden moments, your subconscious, what are you going to feed it? Are you going to feed it that we can do this or that we're going to lose? And even if you lose, it doesn't mean that you couldn't have. Okay? So next and last but not least on comms, you need an in-game leader. Okay? Professional COD used to have this a lot. They talk about it still come roster mania. It's overlooked a lot because some players get very insecure if they're not the IGL. They get very insecure about it. No, they're not the IGL. Nobody's the IGL. We're all equals because they think it makes you better than other people, and it doesn't. It usually goes to the person that has the most experience, has the most understanding of the game, most time on the game. It does not always go to the most talented, all right? That's what an IGL is they're the ones that remind you when to rotate. They're the ones that will mid-game say, hey, we need to rotate sooner on second rotation, P2 to P3, we rotated late. They'll say that quickly, get in there. They're the ones that say, hey, slow down, we're stagger pushing. They're almost the coach in the game, right? The IGL, in-game leader. They're the one that is going to make the call before you break off and search and destroy. Hey, we're taking bomb, we're rush planning A. Hey, we're going to slow play this. Hey, can you watch the flank? Hey, I'm going to set up here. Hey, jump in the hill. We're not getting enough time. Hey, we got to rotate. Hey, send this person on rotation. They come across bossy at times, and they shouldn't over in-game lead, and especially if you're casually playing ranked. I'm just saying, if you really want a team that competes well, you need an in-game leader that's going to remind you of these things and does that. And the big part of communication is listening. It's not just listening to the IGL, but listening to your teammates. If they say, hey, I'm doing this, if they're having a game of their life and they just can't be killed, and normally you're the slayer, you sit your butt down in that hill, soak that time. I don't care if you go 3-3. You let them pop off. You get them the ball and let them shoot. You have to be able to listen as well as communicate. That is the final point of this whole thing. I hope you guys like this video. I hope this increases your ability to be a good teammate. I hope you enjoyed. Catch y'all later. God bless.